in the area.
Hey there folks, Wrel here. This is your Auraxium update for October 25th, 2015. First up is that if you have a membership, you'll be enjoying bonus experience this weekend, and if this is news to you, probably not a whole lot of time left to enjoy it since the video was released on a Sunday, but more importantly is that right now, there's an error with how bonus experience is calculated. It's not double experience currently, it's instead 100% additional experience, which is different. And RadarX has said that, unfortunately, this won't be fixed until the next game update, which is tentatively slated for next week. That in itself is pretty cool to hear because there have been some pretty sweet changes made to the public test server so far, and the first of which are the LMG changes that were proposed a long time ago. Not the same exact changes, but most of them, plus some more things getting tuned. I'll link the official patch notes in the video description as well as a Reddit post that I threw together with some charts that show you exactly what has changed. But to be clear, everything that's happening to LMGs is a buff, except for what's happening with the CQC LMGs, so Anchor, MSWR, Orion, as well as the SVA-88. All of those are controversial at best, but a lot of underperforming LMGs are being made worthwhile now. But again, full notes in the video description, and I'd be interested to hear what you think. Alongside the LMG changes, the victory point system will probably be making its way to live as well. What the victory point system does is basically give you a very tangible way to take over a continent without just waiting for an alert to happen. And how it works is that you have a number of different objectives that will grant your faction points on the continent. There are both permanent and temporary or flux victory points, and permanent victory points are gained through strategic objectives. One of them is connecting your warp gate to the enemy's warp gate. Another one is owning all the facilities of a single type, and this goes on a sort of checklist so that you can't repeat these actions more than once per continent capture. And this is where temporary victory points come in. Temporary VP or Flux VP is basically there to tip the scales, and it gives and takes away points depending on how much territory you control. Alerts are still going to be around, and they're still going to offer permanent VP as well, so no matter what, a continent is going to eventually lock. You're not going to be sitting on continent 1, 2, or 3 anymore. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out on live, mostly because it creates a very clear-cut way to lock down a continent. The reasons for locking down a continent still won't really exist until they add some kind of reward system to it, but that's also a sort of scary thing to think about because you wouldn't want the game to devolve into another world domination series ghost capping session. A lot of people will be happy to know that the Hassan continent locking bonus is being changed. So instead of granting 50% off of max units, your ammo towers and your air pads are now going to repair your vehicles. Amp station and biolab benefits are getting changed as well. Owning an amp station is basically going to let your base turrets fire for 3 times as long as they would have normally before overheating. That's a pretty huge bonus in itself, but they're also going to repair themselves slowly over time, from 0 to full in about 3 minutes if I remember right. Owning a biolab, instead of giving you a super slow regeneration over time, is now going to act like a tier 2 regeneration implant. So if you haven't taken damage for the last, 10 or 12 seconds, you'll start regenerating health pretty quickly. Good change in my opinion, much more substantial than the previous benefit, but there are some concerns as to whether or not your regeneration tier 1 and tier 2 implants will still drain energy if they're being overridden. Hopefully that can get worked out. There have been some comments from people who haven't played for a while about what the little button that says Get Revenge does on the death screen. That's actually part of a new feature called the Bounty system. When somebody kills you, you can spend Daybreak cash to put a bounty on that target. Bounty targets get a crosshair above their head instead of an arrow when they're spotted, and they're worth more experience than a normal kill. Placing a bounty lasts for 3 deaths on that character, and each time a bountied player dies, the person who placed the bounty gets 100 bonus experience, the person who got the kill also gets 100 bonus experience, so it doesn't need to be you killing the guy, and anyone who is currently bountied will get 25 bonus experience for each person that they kill. Also, if I remember right, bounties from multiple players can stack on a single target, so you could actually get a pretty big payday from killing one of these people. So what the system does is allow you to make certain targets more of a priority in battle. So if somebody is farming you really hard, you want to put a bounty on them, then the players around will obviously try to go for that bounty. That system has been out for at least a few weeks now, but what's being added next patch is a directive to go along with it. And this directive I have problems with because it's X amount of bounty targets killed with your knife, and then killed with your carbine, then killed with your LMG, killed with your sniper rifle. But a lot of time, bounty targets are in vehicles, because vehicles farm the hardest, they tick people off. But you can't kill a galaxy or a sunderer or a tank with a knife, a carbine, or an LMG. So hopefully, they'll either change things around, or we'll see another bounty directive oriented toward vehicles, or maybe even another one on people who are bountied themselves. It does have its own category in the directive tree, so that's probably what they're looking toward in the future. And also, minor complaint, the reward for completing the directive is another NS15M. Granted, this one looks really cool because it's using a skin instead of a camo or a shader, but come on, there are other weapons in the game. We already have like 6 NS15Ms already. The M1, the M2, Black, Gold, Platinum, Anniversary Edition. How many times do you want to force people to Auraxium metal the same weapon? Anyway, you can look forward to a review on the bounty system when it becomes more worthwhile to use. Right now, I don't believe that's the case. The rewards are meager, the messaging is off-putting to newer players, there's no leaderboard to give it more meaning, and now the directive strongly encourages stat padding to complete it, because I doubt that any legitimate player will be able to pull that off within the next year. Either way, some substantial changes being made to the game thus far, and as far as what they have left to do before the year is over, they've still got construction system, they've still got leadership tools on the list at the very least. Last thing that I would like to talk about is how to redeem a Steam bundle if you aren't playing PlanetSide 2 through Steam, because this is a question that I've been getting asked a lot in the comment section of the bundle review videos. Here's the process. You go to the PlanetSide 2 store page and then you click play. That's going to add it to your directory, start downloading the game. Go to the download manager, pause the download, right-click on the game in your Steam library, click on View CD Key. Then you copy and paste the code into the depot in-game or on PlanetSide2.com. And by the way, the code that you see here on screen was already given away on Twitter, so sorry, I bought that bundle just so that I could make this example. Also, if your shortcut to the PlanetSide 2 launcher gets jacked up during the process, the Steam installation may have overridden it, so you just have to go to the Daybreak not Steam directory and then copy and paste the correct file path into your shortcut. The links to what we've talked about are listed in the video description below, as well as a bunch more links of things that we didn't talk about. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and if you have any newsworthy items that you'd like to share, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.